My two sons, Jake and Sean. Jake is 30 years old now. He is a captain in the United States Army. And Sean is 27. He just finished his PhD in chemistry and is now in Switzerland doing a postdoctorate. He'll be there for 3 years. Back when the boys were little, we were talking about how to raise men. In this world, there's so many things that pull you away from being a real man. And one of the things, I guess, you have to define what a real man is. And I think it comes down to chivalry. Attributes that a man should have as he grows up. And I would talk about courtesy, integrity, perseverance, an indomitable spirit, self-control. All those things. When our boys were small, we were trying to figure out, well, how do you instill those values? How do you do that in a way that you know it's going to take? You know they're going to grow. Debbie came up with a book one day on raising a modern-day knight. Was the name of the book, and it was by a Christian author out of Arkansas, I believe. Raising a boy into a man is an intentional thing. You have to actively pursue that activity. It just doesn't happen. He talked about milestones in a child's life, and you know we all have them. You know when a baby takes a first step, when they go to kindergarten, when they turn 13, become a teenager, when they learn to drive. You know all those. Some are small, some are big milestones in a boy's life, and he said that it was important to highlight those moments and to demonstrate to the child that they were a significant stepping stone from one part of life to the next part of life. And that stepping stone required more responsibility on their part. And as they grew away from you as a parent, they gained more responsibility, but they also gained more respect and duties and rights. So when my sons turned 18, we decided to have a ceremony for them. So with Jake, what we did is we had it on a Saturday. So when he got up in the morning, I told him to take a shower. He got cleaned up and everything, and I sent him to meet with Brother Fred. What I had done is I had picked 4 people that were influential in his life in different stages of manhood. And one of them was a teacher that he was his current teacher that he really liked and had great respect for. One was a close friend of ours, a family friend. One was his grandfather, and the other was Brother Fred. And he met with him. They talked about an hour or so. And then when he left there, Brother Fred sent him to the next person. He didn't know who he was meeting with. He just went from person to person. And this took most of the morning into the afternoon. And then when he came back in the afternoon, I sat him down and talked to him. One of the things I told him was that, and I'd always told them when they were younger, everything you think, do, and say is my responsibility. So don't ever think, do, and say anything without knowing what I'm going to do about it, or think of it. And so I told him, I said, from today on, everything you think, do, and say is now your responsibility. So remember, there's consequences to everything you do. So be careful. That evening, I invited everybody over, and we had dinner. All the men came over, and we had dinner, and I wanted to provide him and introduce him and provide him with a gift that was an icon of manhood, of knighthood. So I introduced him to all these men, presenting him this sword as Jacob DeGuire, a modern-day knight. And he made me very proud. And I think that has stuck with him, and it was meaningful at the time, and they still think about it. I know both of them do. We did the same for Sean's 18th birthday. We didn't use Excalibur. Sean got the sword of the Archangel Michael, and I know that they both thought that was very important, and it was It was a stepping stone in his transition, and from that day on, they changed, and they're real men.